All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is the annual members meeting that we have. It's required by our board, our bylaws. Feel free to ask any questions that come up. Gonna go through some of these slides. It's gonna just kind of give a history of stuff from this year, and then we'll do some financial stuff, and then and then we'll open up to if people have questions or concerns. All right, so I call the meeting to order. The first item is going to be board nominations. We didn't get any interest, so I'll open it up. Anybody that's on now besides Sean interested in serving on the board? I know Margaret, you can't because
No,
you're busy.
I'm
You're-
doing 4 different preps for 2 different grades.
okay.
No way, I can't. Not to mention that I want to keep my job.
Right, right. And I'm assuming, Derek, that you probably don't want to do it now, maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. That's
Okay.
I haven't been here that long. I just joined up, what, about a month ago, maybe?
Right, right. It was about a month ago. We're looking
Our
for
first week.
people. You will be a board member. Sean is serving, going to be serving the second year because we elect board members to 2-year terms. Ed's the other one, Ed Shopper John. And I am up for election this year. And so, unless there's any objection, then we'll just assume that I got elected for another 2-year term. Any objections?
Oh,
Okay. All right, so we'll go into the fiscal year 2023 in review. Oh, did that already. It was a good year for SHoWLE. We were able to meet in person most of the year. I think there was one meeting I think we had to cancel. We had contacts with many people and got some new members. Derek's one of them. Donations in total were slightly off. Not sure why, by a couple of $100 than what we expected. And expenses were much more than anticipated. One of the reasons is because we decided to have a booth at the Old West End Festival, and that was like $150. So at the last board meeting that we had, we adopted the same budget we had this year for next year. And we currently have 20 voting members, which is a good deal because coming out of the pandemic, we had like 12. So I'm very happy we have 20. And here is some pictures from various stuff that we did this year. A couple booths. We had a family game day. We had a social at the Caulfields. And we had a program at the West Library about climate change. And then I also wrote some letters to the editor this year. There's a couple of them about violence, gun violence, and single parents, and the other one about the previous state issue one from August. I wrote about that. Then we have our Glass City Humanist podcast. It has 65 episodes, 4,675 downloads so far. Some of the guests that
Wow.
yeah, that's since it started, not just this year.
But that's still good.
Yeah, that's a lot. Some guests that have included Cami Ross, I can't. I was going to mess that up. And Rachel Richardson. We had Rachel Laser from the Americans United, Nicole Carr from the AHA. Mike Ferner, David Breeden, we just had this last episode, who's the Unitarian minister from Minneapolis, and then Allison Gill from American Atheists. And then the card that I have up there was the interview I had with Ann Fabrizak Payne from Lucas County League of Women Voters. And we also have an hour to fill on WAKT, the community radio station. And usually 30 minutes is from a past episode, from a past interview, and then I fill 30 minutes with current events. And that's going very well. We had some billboards in August that were up that the radio station put up for us, and so that's going pretty good.
Nice.
Although I probably bit off more than I could choose choose by saying I wanted to do an hour because it's really hard. It can be really hard sometimes. All right, so here's some of the financials. This is from the profit and loss statement from this past year. On the left is from this fiscal year, and on the right side it's from last fiscal year, the previous one. So we had a total income of $1,429.95. We had total expenses of $1,489.75. And so we spent almost $60 more than we had, which is decent. I'm okay with that. We had $400 more left over last year than we did this year, but so it kind of all works out. As I said, most of the costs that we had that we weren't anticipating was the venue rental. Also, the postal increases went up. I think 3 times last year. The postal box rates went up.
And they're going up again, aren't they?
Well, I know stamps are going up again, but I don't know about the box rental. And then I did a nice little fancy pie chart to show the relationship to all of them. The biggest expense is advertising and marketing. And then office supplies and software. I don't know why they are the same amount, but they turned out to be the same amount. And then the programming only $65.41. That's because we haven't really gotten back to our full in-person meeting routine with snacks and things like that. So we haven't been spending as much on programming. And here's the pie chart for income. Most of our income came from direct donations. And then we had almost $300 in memberships this past year, which is pretty good. I want to see that too. I'd like to see more memberships than donations, but that's how it is. Any questions on the financials? All right. Here are some of the plans and ideas that we're probably going to be working on for the coming year. We're going to continue with our Humanist Nooners. There's one coming up Wednesday at Zane's Lebanese Grill in Sylvania. It's next to the Sylvania BMV, so there'll probably be a lot of angry people to wade through. Also thinking about at least trying to pick a place to have our Thanksgiving Eve social that we've had the past few years. I'm also making a change. We are going to go back to meeting on the second Saturdays of each month for our regular meeting. I tried to do it during the week, and the people that said that they wanted me to do it during the week, they didn't come to the meeting. So I want to have it on a particular day at a particular time each month, because we already have a hard time because we don't have our own place. So the locations tend to change frequently, but I think it'd be better for people to know, hey, the Humanists meet on the second Saturday at whatever time. I haven't decided what time yet, but that's what I want to do. We're going to look into sponsoring a STEM event, either through one of the universities or maybe through a school or something like that. Also kind of want to think about maybe having a gathering for the April solar eclipse. I know everybody's going to be doing it, but I thought maybe we could find some place to meet. So when the end of the world when the eclipse happens, we can all be together.
Wait, there's another end of the world?
The eclipse, right?
The 7th coming.
The 7th coming. And then we also had a suggestion to volunteer at a food bank again. So I'm looking into that, see which ones we can do. And then the other thing was that the board at the last meeting decided to increase the membership dues starting in January. The individuals are going to go up to $20 a year, and the household's going to go up to $30 a year starting January the 1st. And we were kind of different minds on that, but I think because of the way that some of the costs have gone up, especially with like the postal costs and things like that, that it makes sense to raise the membership price. Plus, it looks like it maybe looks better for us if it's costs a little bit more. And then we'll also make sure that people realize that if they can't afford that, then we can work it out, and so we don't have to turn people away.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Have you considered a student rate for maybe like college students or?
Yeah,
other
we don't.
students?
Yeah, we don't have anything formal. But usually, if somebody says, "Hey, I'm a student, I can only afford this much," then we'll do it. We also accept donations of time. So if they
Okay.
want to work an event like a booth or something like that, we can do that way as well. It's more so, the dues are more so to give people more of a voice in the direction of the group rather than just showing up.
Right. Okay.
And so it's just kind of that's what it's used for. It's not used to pay me. I don't take any money, and I don't have a private jet yet, and like some of those
3 cars.
evangelicals do that. So that's what we do. But yeah, if somebody said, "Hey, I'm a student, I can only afford $5," I'd take $5. So
Okay. Thank you.
yeah. Any questions on our plans and ideas so far? All right. Questions and concerns. So let's open it up. Anybody have any questions or concerns about the direction of the group?
This is the time when I can learn about the dirt. Come on.
Yeah.
I need to hear what's going on. No, I'm just kidding. New kid on the block here.
Well, I'm wondering, does anybody have any suggestions for where we might do our Thanksgiving Eve
Yeah,
gathering?
and that's going to be on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, right? The day before Thanksgiving. And usually we've
Go
tried to,
somewhere
yeah.
for dinner and drinks, or
Do we
Anybody
want to
have?
do we want to do a dinner, or do we want to do a potluck? And we could just I can see if the game room will allow us to have their big room back there. I don't think they've got any tournaments or like the like. And that
Are
would
they
be
going to want to be open on Wednesday night right before Thanksgiving?
I can find out. They usually are. I don't know how late they are open.
my only thought on that is the idea of going out somewhere is that nobody wants to make a mess in their kitchen and cook
Right.
or something
Right.
else. They have to cook for Thanksgiving the next day.
You said what day was it again?
It's the Wednesday, the
Wednesday.
day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's when we usually have it. That is the 22nd. Oh, Kennedy Assassination Day.
So it can be a wake too.
Yeah, we could have an Irish wake.
That's the yeah, that was the day that I decided this is the day we needed to have my son born. So it was the day Kennedy was shot.
Oh.
Kidding.
All right. Well, if anybody comes up with some other ideas, let me know. Because we got a little bit of time, a couple weeks before we have to firm things up. All right. And is there any other business, anything that needs to be addressed that we have not addressed?
I was thinking about going along with the idea of a STEM event. Margaret, you might know. I think it's in February. Is Girls STEM Week or Girls in Engineering or something like that, Girls in Science. And so I was thinking maybe we could do a movie at one of the libraries for kids and buy popcorn, pizza, some drinks. I know we had a meeting at Mott Branch one time, and in one of the other meeting rooms earlier in the day, they had a church had sponsored just a fun afternoon and bought pizza, and they made popcorn and stuff and showed a movie for kids, anybody who wanted to show up. So I was thinking maybe we could do that, and I don't know, maybe show a movie that shows girls doing science and math and engineering, and something along the lines of
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures. Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
we could show Hidden Figures.
What rating is that?
I don't think it's a R.
I know it isn't an R. I'm thinking it's a PG-13 or a PG. There is a Disney show that it's about ice skaters. I think Michelle Trachtenberger, is that how you pronounce her name?
No, I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of how to say it either.
She's a science major, and she goes into ice skating, but she uses science to calculate how to do the jumps and everything. And it's got, little girl drama in it too, but it was a cute movie. It just depends on what age group that you're going for.
The Hidden Figures movie is PG.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to. I look at that more of a high school, maybe junior high, middle school kind of age.
Ice Princess?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, we could see if that's something that we can. I know we have to, only certain movies can be shown at the library. We'd have to talk to somebody probably at the library and get approval.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we could do
G-rated
we could rent out the Maumee Indoor Theater, because that's like $150, and then we could show anything. We just wouldn't be able to charge admission or anything like that, which we wouldn't be doing, but
right.
Well, that's not a bad idea to consider also.
But who wants, Sean, did you want to check on that with the library, whether or not it'd be okay to show something like that, or?
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll get rolling on that. Yeah, because that sounds like a fun program. That does. That sounds like a good thing we can do.
Or even if we had little science projects that they could do, like with the Mentos and things like that.
Would they let us do that at the library?
I
That
don't
would
know.
probably have to be done outside. Well, if we had like the little totes that would catch the soda, and if it wasn't the 2-liter bottles, but maybe a smaller.
Yeah, because those things those things shoot pretty high up anyway. So
yeah, I did it when I was a substitute. I did it in the science class, and they got to. I did it to show them the kinetic energy of of how the soda went shooting up, and then the energy had to come back down, and I connected it to that. But I did smaller, and it still went up high.
yeah, that's all we would need. We'd probably have to get insurance or something for something like that. All right. Any other suggestions or ideas, or? I think that's it. Yeah.
We could actually even do some, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Taking my time. I'm like thinking,
No, you're all
I
right.
mean, we've got that, we do have the eclipse coming, maybe something that's sciencey towards the eclipse to kind of get people in the mood for that in the next the 2 months after that, right? So it's in February is when the STEM thing is, and then 2 months later.
Yeah.
Ooh, we could show that fake Apollo moon landing movie, Capricorn 1, with
There you
O.J.
go.
Simpson.
We could also at UT they have the arboretum, not the arboretum, the
Planetarium.
planetarium.
Yeah.
It might not be open in February. I don't know. I think that's seasonal.
Yeah, if we do something like that, we would have to have RSVPs and people committed to doing it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying, though, that, and that was the other change that probably we're going to be doing for this coming year is when we plan stuff and we need to have people there, we're going to ask for RSVPs. And if we don't get enough RSVPs, then we're just not going to do it because there's been too many programs that we had planned where only 2 people showed up, and it was me and Sean. And so I just want to start getting people committed to doing it, and because I don't like wasting my time, and I don't want to waste other people's time. And so we're going to start doing that. I have to see if I can find an online solution to collect RSVPs that's not going to be too invasive of privacy, but that's how we're going to do it. So like if we're doing that Thanksgiving Eve social, we're probably going to want RSVPs for that, and maybe not the STEM thing because that's going to include people outside the group. But if we do an eclipse event, then we'll probably want RSVPs for that. So
Makes sense.
I mean, we've had speakers come from out of town and, not had a very good turnout. So, it would be better if we were able to tell them, a day ahead of time.
yeah, I mean, Ford Caulfield even asked me, he says, how many people are coming? I'm like, it's whoever shows up. And some people don't like that. So we're going to try to get better and trying to get people to commit to things. All right. Anything else? Questions, concerns? All right. Well, it was a very good short members meeting. I like that. That's kind of like. If you do have any other questions or concerns, you can always contact me, either text me or send me emails or whatever. And I'm going to have some of these financial documents put together and put in a folder and send it to everybody so that they can take a look at it that weren't here. And I know, Derek, you probably don't know, but any member can look at our financial stuff, just make arrangements with me and we'll do it that way because we're very transparent in all of that. I know we put stuff up on the website, but it's usually just summaries because we don't want donor information to be public.
Makes sense.
But that's always available to members, if they have a concern or something.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's no objections, then we will go ahead and adjourn.
Nice meeting you all. Bye.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Hey, Margaret.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.